My hat! Alright, so now we're going to start building the rear end. We completed the front end already, so for the rear end we're actually going to swap out the transmission. So we're not going to use the stock transmission. We will be using this Proline Pro Series 32P. 32P comes from the 32 pitch on the spur gear. Now, I do recommend this transmission. The reason why is the lay shaft and the gear are one piece versus the stock transmission has a little roll pin that tends to break, especially because this truck is going to be run mainly on carpet, high traction surfaces. I need something that can take more stress. Now, I am going to use the stock bumper. So for the stock bumper, I will have to remove this piece here, this inner part. So I'm not going to be using it. But I will be needing the hardware. So all you have to do is just remove the screws. You have one screw here, another one up here, so it's 1, 2. And then 2 on this other side. And all of the screws should be the same, so it shouldn't matter if you mix them up. The other thing that I like about the RPM transmission is this section here that I'm removing. If you've owned slashes before, it tends to move because it's only held on by 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. So this side here tends to just kind of unclip. This side here, so it's just 3 screws. This side unclips from the chassis, and then it catches everything, grass, whatever your surface you're running on. Versus this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 screws. It's pretty solid on there. You don't have these little guides there to catch on things. Alright, so now I need to install the bumper, and the bumper is going to fit right on. So let's go. And I'm not going to tighten it fully until all of the screws are presented. Just ensures better fitment. Alright. Perfect. There we go. Alright, one more screw, and with this one, I am going to drive this one all the way. The way I'm going to tighten this is, it's the lower left, so now I'm going to do lower right. If I do lower, I'll do lower. Now I'm going to do top. I'm just doing top right. Now I'm going to do top left. Alright, good. Now I have to check the arms. The shocks go in front, so make sure these holes go front, and then notice that little angle, make sure that's at the bottom, as this bridge goes toward the bottom. The reason why is because your shaft's going to lay right in here. If you flip these over, your shaft's going to hit, and you're going to notice, if you were to flip these on backwards, first you'd notice the shocks are mounted on the wrong side. So let's say you accidentally flip them over here, then you're going to notice your shaft isn't sitting properly. So just make sure it's like this. Shock holes should be forward, and then the bridge should be down. And I'm going to check the fitment here. Yes, I have to remove some material. This was the problem with the Proline front arms as well. So I'm just going to go through and shave some of that material off with my blade. Let's see. So just a small amount of material. And going slowly. So far, this is the only thing I'm not liking about these Proline arms. Alright. So if you can see, I almost kept flush. And let's see. A little better. Just use a pin and see. Just a little bit more material. This time I'm going to take it off the other side. And it's just a very small amount that I need. So really, you're just shaving off material. That's all you are doing. Don't remove too much. Then your arms are going to be really loose. It's going to be too much play front and back, and then your vehicle's going to be unpredictable. Straighten this out. All right. In. Now on the right side, oh, this is really tight. I have to ream them. Alright, let me do that. Actually, I don't have to ream it because this thing's supposed to thread onto the arm, so it's a good thing I didn't do anything to it. But you are going to have to ream the transmission because that's not going to move freely. So just going to use this one here. Nope, needs more. That should be good. All right. So one thing you are going to need is, because this side is, you really should put the pin this way. Now I am using an LCG chassis, so this would actually just hit the chassis as it backs out and stay there, but eventually it will start making a little hole in the chassis. So I am going to remove this screw and this screw. I may get away with just removing this one, depending on how flexible this is, just so I can get that pin through. Hopefully, let's see, this is on the right side. It should be a short screw. Wait, no. I just forget. No, it's the long one. Long one's going on the right, apparently. I have to remove the other one. So I'll just loosen this one. Loosen this top one. And this one I'll remove. There we go. That's the long one. Great. So now I can move this out of the way, and the pin, I want to go rear to front. And again, it's going to be snug on the arm. That's fine, because the pin actually moves with the arm. That's the reason why they back out. As this does this, that wants to move. Let's see, 2.5. And apply pressure in the beginning just to thread it. And that's it. Do not over tighten, to be honest, snug. And even if it's not snug, it'll be fine. It's not going to back out. As long as you can see this coming out, you will be fine. And there we go. And now we're going to install the screws. So the shorter one goes on the right. That's your 2mm driver. And the long one's going to go in through the left. There's the arms moving freely. We're almost there. All right, now the other side. Go. All right. Now this side. Now this is the left side, so left side you're going to go front to rear. And again, snug on the arm. Very snug on the arm. Sometimes when something is this snug, you just use your driver and turn the pin as if you were screwing it in, and then it'll just start going. There we go. All right, again, apply pressure. And there we go. All right. All right, so that's that. Now at this point, we're going to use the new shock tower. So the new shock tower is this one here. This is the Proline tower. And I do have a video where I compare both parts. But here it is. Now your shocks go forward, so this goes this way. Right? This points forward toward the shocks, so this will be mounting here. And you just need 2 screws because the other 2 are going to mount into the chassis. We're going to go back here, and I recommend that you do this before putting the body mounts on the tower. Because you are threading this for the first time, you are going to have to apply some pressure. Just in the beginning, really. That's it. Right. And I did not drive it all the way, because I want to set this other one first. And again, just snug, do not over tighten. It's plastic, you'll destroy it. And that's it. So now our shock tower is there. And we're going to use the same mounts as before. Stock form uses the middle 2, so I will be using the middle 2. And these here will use a 2mm driver. Now I just want to present the first one. And once one side is there, it doesn't matter right or left, then you should do the other side. And again, snug, do not over tighten. And you're using the screws. This is what they look like. Okay, so drop this one in. Go through here. Actually, probably be a good idea to put the bumper at the end because it's kind of getting in the way, I'll be honest. Alright, so that would be one recommendation. install the bumper all the way to the end. Leave that to the end. That's it, just snug. Perfect. All right, now we have our mounts. Now we can use our carriers. Now these are the carriers. It's the same left and right. These are much better than the stock ones. The stock ones are, I think, 2 millimeters narrower, and these have adjustments. Now the stock setting is the lower center, and I'm just going to do stock. But let me go ahead and let's see, I was going to do something else, but no, let's continue on. I'll put the shafts after. All right. So one bearing in the front, one bearing in the rear. These are a tight fit. Wow, there's really no play. And they should seat flush, as you can see. So keep that in mind. All right, there we go. All right, good. So now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn this around because I have my links here. And my links, the stock setting is in the middle. All right, so if you look at these links, the small part, that goes inward. Now, the part with more metal, see this part, this goes toward the shock tower. So just install it that way. So if you look at these holes right in here, it's going to be in the middle. You do have an extra setting with the Proline, which is nice because that's going to give you adjustability. The only thing is, and I just realized here, is they actually go in through the rear. So let me go ahead and remove this shield, and hopefully I can go ahead and install them. Now for those of you building a slash, if you bought the kit, it does come with a manual. I'm not using the manual. There we go. All right, perfect. This looks like a 2.5 millimeter. 2.5. All right, and I'm using the middle setting. And again, do not over tighten. So there it is. I'm actually going to keep this shield off because once I install the motor, I'm going to have to remove it anyway. All right, so let's do this one. And again, I'm going to go with the center. With my thumb, I'm kind of pushing the screw so it's straight. Again, bumper, leave it to the end. Actually, this would have been fine if I had just put these links on first before installing the tower. But I did not, so now I'm doing it this way. All right, good. All right. is it. That's the way it's supposed to fit. Perfect. Right, my links are there. And these are good. Now I want to install my shafts. So the shafts, they're going to have two holes. It doesn't really matter which way the pin goes in, but you want to make sure the holes line up with this. So this has an edge that is flat, and inside of here it has the same thing. So if you just look at where the hole is going here and there, it'll be pretty easy. Alright, so let's see. Alright, and just going to slip one of these in here. Now you're going to use your 1.5. You're just going to push that in, and then you're just going to drive it. If you ended up putting it on the side with the threads, it should go in easily. If not, you're just going to have to apply a little pressure just to make sure the threads fit. Now I did just notice a problem here. This is hitting the gear, and that is not good. So I'm going to have to remove this. I'm going to check maybe this relocates. Alright, we're going to have to see it. If not, I'm going to use a different screw. For now, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to put the shafts on. Alright, let's just do this. Make it easier. Alright. Finally, something that works. I don't have to remove material from this part of the arms. Alright, so now you're going to put this part of the shaft in here and this part over here. And now you just put this through the bearings. And for my setup, I'm going to put this on the top hole, which will give me the lower rear right height. And again, the right side is going to go rear to front. Apply a little pressure at first, and then it should go in. No problem, just snug, do not over tighten. And the left side has to go front to rear. This way they do not back out. The rear arms are actually very durable, even the factory arms. What generally breaks them is these screws back out a little, so then they don't grab both parts of the arm completely, for example this part, and then you end up breaking the arm. And I really don't know if one arm tends to break more than the other, but I would not be surprised it's the right arm that tends to break, mainly because this screw will back out. So it'll back out this way on the high CGs, and then the arm will break right there. Alright, so I've gone ahead and fixed it, so now they're on the correct side so they don't hit the spur, so this spins freely now. Good. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and take the shims. So there's two shims, and these just go here, and it's to protect the bearing, right, just as I had mentioned in the front, to protect the bearing from the pin, so the pin and the bearing don't chew each other up. It's mainly to protect the bearing. Here we go. So now I'm just going to install the pin in there. And I am not going to install these plastic hexes. The reason why is these plastic hexes, they tend to wear out, and then once they wear out, they'll wear out your wheel as well. So no plastic hexes. We're actually going to use this part number here, 1654X. These are the aluminum hex. They're made by Traxxas. Very good quality. They do come with extra pins, so you can use those. I don't need the extra pins, so I'm just going to put them on the magnet. It actually comes with 4, even though you only need 2. Alright, and these just slide on. That is it. They're on there, and I'm just going to put the nut here just to hold them. It. All right, and I'm going to do the other side. There's the shim. I have to rotate this so that the pin is horizontal. I'm just going to slide this in. There we go. And I'm just going to, now eventually I will, before I run it, I'm going to replace these rear nuts and put some better serrated nuts on there so they don't fall out. Just using these for now. Alright, so the stock setting on these is the center lower, which is where I'm going to go. Well, I guess I could go over here. Actually, no. I won't go stock setting. I'll go here. And later on, once I tune it, I can switch that up. But we have the screw. Now the screw goes in through the smaller side, and then the large bell, that goes toward the carrier. You're going to need your 2mm driver for this one. So I'm actually doing lower out. That's where I'm attaching this. And it does make a difference where you place it, especially once you're running, depending on the surface that you're running, track conditions. But I'll tune it later. All right, there we go. Now, there we go. There will be another video where I talk about tuning and why you may want to go with lower, higher, shorter link, longer link. All right, and oops, let's bring that back. There we go. Right, and that is it. So this pin kind of fell out. That's fine. Let's rotate, put it back in. I mean, once the wheels are in, it's fine. You can get some of these hexes. I forget who makes them, but they do have a little screw so they clamp on. So they're clamping hexes. There. And the rear end is ready to be mounted.